We are live, so take it away, Professor Erickson.
Well, greetings, hello, and welcome everyone. This is the CRC Music in the Studio event. Dr. Lisa Beebe, you are running today's show. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you doing today, Kurt?
Well, I'm doing great. Isn't this fun that we get to actually speak with and interview like one of our like good friends and colleagues here at CRC?
It's pretty great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to today's talk a lot. I've been looking forward to it all week, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and we're actually on campus too, which is a new and unique kind of thing for us, right?
Yeah, I'm in the piano lab, and it's weird to be here. Well,
And
great.
we should also just say that each and every one of us, we all forgot our codes, our key fobs, like literally everything. Alarms are going off. We're calling police. I mean, it's just like a mess, but you know, comes with the territory.
Over here. Campus is beautiful. The leaves are changing. It makes me really excited for this time next year when hopefully we'll be doing this event live and we'll all
Yes,
be in the recital hall. So
absolutely. And speaking of that, we should bring in our guest, shouldn't we?
yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, we are thrilled today to bring in our very own Dr. Narmina Sultanova. For those of you who are taking classes or coming to our concerts, you know or should know Narmina. She's just such an incredible addition to faculty, to playing, to all of our performances, whether it's teaching like piano classes or accompanying for the various choirs or working with our applied lesson students. It's just, we're just so incredibly lucky to have her. And today we're going to learn more about her and her musical journey. So let's bring on Dr. Narmina Sultanova.
Hello,
Hello.
hello. So nice to be here in the different rooms, but in the same environment. I'm super happy. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You bet. It's great to have you here. It really is. Really wonderful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Yeah. So we're gonna ask a whole bunch of questions from you, and
I can't
we're
wait.
gonna hear about your journey and about music. Do you want to start off by maybe telling us a little bit about growing up in Azerbaijan and music and coming from a musical family?
Of course, yeah, yeah. Yes, I grew up, I was born into the musical family, musical professional family. My father is the pianist as well. My mother is the violinist, but also who teaches the piano. Yeah, so I had this, I probably was born into the hearing music sound every single day of my life, every single day. I don't know the day which it wasn't there, because my father was practicing every day. And at that time, you know, I have a sister as well, and at that time we have a one piano in the apartment that would where we live, right? We used to live, and my dad was practicing every single day. Then my parents decided they have two daughters, which also should be musicians and pianists. So what we're going to do, so my sister, she's 2 years older than me. So she started playing piano. Then we needed another piano in house, right? So they got another piano. This time it was upright piano, put it in the other room. Okay, time passed on, and here I am. 2 years later, why don't Narmina also go into the piano business? Okay, what we are going to do with the piano situation, how are they going to share time? Because when dad is not practicing, he has students whole day. He teaches at the conservatory, but he teaches at the times when I go to school too, right? Or my sister goes to school. So we need 3 pianos in the house. So that was like a mini conservatory in our apartment. And it wasn't a mansion kind of apartment. It was a regular apartment, right? But what my mother taught us, actually, both me and my sister, to ignore the sounds from different rooms. Because it's so hard. You can easily get distracted by other And especially we are little kids and playing beep, 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 beep stuff. And my dad is playing hardcore Rachmaninoff's list and whatever, right? And at this time, like, how can you not listen to that and listen to yourself? But that was an amazing experience of learning how to listen to yourself and isolate yourself from outside world, right? Anyway, so I started actually learning piano when I was about 5. And I grew up in a Soviet Union, just to give you a little bit of perspective. Back then it was Soviet Union, which had collapsed in 1991. But at that point, it was like a 15 states, like in America, but it's 15 states, which made like this Soviet Union, like big country. And music, art, sports was big, very big. I would say that was the only thing, because economy is, there's nothing in the stores. You cannot go in and you know, like spend some time doing this kind of. Everything was all attention and lifestyle was channelized into the art making or sports. And when I was like about 5-6 years old, when my parents say, okay, so let's continue. Let's start actually the musical journey for Narmina as well. So we have this one school in Azerbaijan, which is specialized school. It's only one of them, and it's like for musically gifted and inclined kids. But this is school which has all other subjects as well, like a regular school. But in addition to that, we are getting theory, we are getting solfege, we are getting harmony, musical harmony, we're getting music literature, all these kind of classes which will basically train you from the 7 years old into the until the end. And it's 11 years of study before you go into the conservatory. And to be able to get into that school, you have to get into the real exam. And that was my first exam at 6 years old. It's pathetic. 6 years old, they sent kids to just exam to see if they will be admitted or not admitted to school, right?
Wow.
So anyway, and if you'll ask what was at this exam, it's year exam. So they play the melody, I have to sing it back. And they do intervals and I sing it back. And I also need to prepare 2 pieces to play. 6 years old. Cruel, very cruel, I think.
Wow.
But they just from the beginning, I think it was like they set up, this is serious stuff. If you're going through this kind of thing, you know that you have to stick for a while. Yeah, so I stuck there for a while, for 11 years. My teacher was, I can totally say that she was the best teacher, you know, in terms of teaching, how much I learned from her. And at the same time, she was a very difficult person to be around. And what it is, like, just to give you a simple example, through all these years, you come one lesson, and we have twice 2 lessons during the week, and it's so it's non-stop. It's never relaxed. Like, take time. Okay, it's not ready today. Let's start next week. Nothing like that. I will tell you that. So one lesson I was coming there, and she was saying that you're absolute genius. You have so much in you. Next lesson, I am so pumped up. So I'm born to do this. Thank you, parents. You send me in the right direction. Next lesson, I come to her to class, and she said, like, I don't know what you're even doing in this business. you should not be even touch this instrument.
Oh.
I'm now what am I doing? But
Wow.
yes, that was the hard part. She was very, very, very passionate about what he was doing, and she was teaching amazingly. It just was hard to accept the fact that don't take it too seriously, too close to you. So don't let it discourage or get your head too big, right? So everything is in moderation. And my mother actually was incredibly disciplined with us having this practice, because she wanted us to not to experience these big ups and downs during this. So she helped a lot during everyday practices. So she was running in between my room, my piano room, my sister piano room, and kitchen. She was a just trying to and dad practicing in the other room, but we were too little for my dad to actually step in. Well, the only times when my dad was actually stepping in, when it was like huge crisis in class with my piano teacher, and my mother was just and then my dad, okay, and he's a very calm person, like he was coming there, and it's like, like a fine tuning, like, no, but here, do this, that, and this and that. I go next lesson to her, and it's very interesting. She was saying, like, did you practice with your dad? Did you practice with your dad? I was like, how do you know? So some magic he was probably doing with all these years of the experience. Probably he knew exactly what to fine tune, what to do to bring it in a condition which we want.
Yeah, it sounds like you really had like a team surrounded. Your mother, your dad, the piano teacher.
Exactly. And I will tell you, my life, I had no childhood. I can just drop it here. I had no childhood whatsoever. When we are coming with our friends and everybody's telling stories from their childhood, I have like, did I have a childhood actually? No. So the way, and I don't say it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, it definitely brought me a lot of goodness in terms of the very, very strong foundation. But at the same time, everything needs to be in balance in life. Everything needs to be in balance. It's a very healthy thing to do. I remember my years at school. Let's say I'm already like 10, 12, 14, 15. And of course, they started to be all these birthday parties, some kind of parties. And I say, Mom, can I go to that party? It started at, I don't know, like it's at 7 p.m. And she said, well, of course you can go. Well, just finish your practice, like you go to school, do your homework, and then you're free to go. I felt like a Cinderella with the stepmom, because she said, of course you can go to ball. Just do this. By the time I do all of that, it's already 12 a.m. at night, right? I need to go to bed. I barely can walk and do anything. What are you talking about? Wow. But she was, yes, of course you can go. Anyways, that's also always kind of joke in the family, like you killed our childhood. Anyways, but I really, really appreciate it again, because all these years of this kind of regime, it's really taught me a lot. It taught me the discipline. And that is probably the hardest thing which I see around me, which sometimes I wish I see more. Discipline of the practicing. Because from the very early age, like 7 years old, it's a true story. I practice every day at 7 years old for 2 to 3 hours. 7 years old. This is wow. It's too much. But again, at the beginning, it was kind of how it's even possible, but apparently it is possible. And with the kid mind, of course, we wake up at 8 o'clock, and at 9 o'clock sharp, we have to be by the piano with my sister. And of course, with the things which going in mind, you think, okay, I will just prolong my eating, And then my mom is very careful about us having proper nutrition. She will let me sit by the table and finish my breakfast, and I will not start piano at 9. And then I will have to finish at 12 to go to school at 1, right? 9 o'clock, piano time. Mom, I'm still eating. Nope, your problem, you will be hungry. So next time you know better what to do, you know? So nothing worked, basically. Stomach works, I want to go to the restaurant, nothing worked. Piano time is piano time, and nothing can change it in the world unless there's like earthquake and our house is all fall down, collapsed. Yeah, so that's basically how were my 11 years in that school. And entertainment at that time, the only form of entertainment was going to the concerts. And it was amazing because for me, it was the only way to entertain myself. And because my parents always going to concert, and because there's this kind of lifestyle, because there's nothing else to do except of going to the concert recitals and, you know, this kind of stuff. So my dad was invited very frequently to the competitions to be jury member. So they always were buying us a little block notes and take us with them, because it's open, of course, it's a competition. And we would sit with my sister next to each other and grade every performer. It was so many. I wish I had all this stuff, but you know.
Narmina, thank you for sharing this. I think that students and people who are sort of starting out, I think sometimes they have trouble sort of wrapping their head around the level of commitment that is needed or that exists, particularly in the piano world. I mean, instrumentalists in general, but there's something about the piano world specifically that either it necessitates or it encourages this level of, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it and I'm going to be completely obsessive over it. But as you're mentioning, in a sort of delayed gratification way, I'm going to sacrifice now, but later on I'm going to get all these benefits,
so
which,
right,
which
yes.
you have absolutely, you know, accrued, and, you know, wonderfully so.
Well, when we see performers, we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg, really. Yeah. You know.
Exactly. The work which is done behind that, and you cannot you cannot skip this process and just to get to that point. You have to invest so much of your time and your emotions, your psychological condition, everything. It's so much you're involved into getting on stage for 5 minutes to present something. And it's not always good. It's not always good because it's stage, we're humans, it's full of surprises. There's a beauty of it, to be on the stage in the present moment, not knowing what it brings to you. But at the same time, you know, it's really hard thing to do. But the commitment is everything. You need to know that when you go into this, you will spend countless hours of practicing before you get something out of it. The patience, and that's the profession. It teaches you so much patience. But when you're young, you don't understand it that much, and you can get so frustrated. And like, I practice, nothing happens. I still do this mistake. That's fine. And you can still do that mistake even after 1 year. It happens. You know, you just need to be patient, but you need to definitely give absolute 100% of you, because that's the only way. You have to be committed, and you have to live this kind of life to be able to. It gives you much more confidence. Let me put it this: do I say like if I committed, like it's always going to be 100% on the stage? Heck no. You can still lose stuff, but the level of preparation locks something in your hands, which basically help you to survive in moments of, "Ooh, something is happening," you know, the practice, the muscle memory, let's say, you know, kind of saves you during these moments.
Since we're talking about these performing moments, I know some folks in the audience here, of course, have heard you perform, but we can never get enough. And some folks here today maybe haven't. So, Dr. Sultanova, you've shared some pieces with me, some of your performances. What would you like to listen to first or share with us first?
I would probably start with the solo one because I do many things. Let me just like quickly kind of summarize what I'm doing. So I perform as a solo pianist, and then I started to, I'm very talkative, you can probably tell. And I love people. That's my biggest thing. I love people, and chatting with people and sharing stuff with people also transfer into making music with people, because that's the main thing. I found enormous joy in collaborating with other musicians. And that was something I found much later in my life, and I totally fall in love with that. This is so good, because to create this unseen connection between two musicians, and when you find this, actually, this is out of this world. You not always you find, because everyone has different personalities and different type of music which they like, and but at the same time, when you find it, this is heaven. It is heaven. Yes. So I have been doing duets, two pianos or one piano, four hands with my father, and that was like my highlights of my musical career. So I have a couple of videos from there which I would like to share with my audience. And I also do a lots of chamber music with I play with the different instrumentalists, and it's constantly ongoing thing. Every month, it's either concert or audition or competition or something like that, which people are just calling, so they're like cellist and singers, cellist, violinist, or any other instruments. And that's very, very interesting to me, because every time it's something new. And I would think by now, when I get a call, I think like, hopefully this is something I already did before, so I didn't need to learn new music. No, every time it's something new, and I played so many since, since I started to do that. I was like, oh my God. The biggest problem in my life is time. 24 hours, just not enough to do what I want to do. And I want to live my life, because I learned that balance is very important for the mental health.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's why, yes. So everything needs to be present in life to be successful and be happy. And the happier you are, you can also be more productive and get into the, yeah. So yeah, maybe we can start with solo, and yeah.
That sounds great.
So we have your Chopin Mazurka and a Chopin Ballade. Which would you like to start with?
I love
Oh, yeah.
maybe, yes.
Awesome.
This is one of my favorite pieces.
While I am getting this queued up, would you like to just tell us?
No, there's
what
nothing.
we'll be hearing?
Yeah, it's a ballad in the number one in G minor by Chopin. Yeah, and this is my favorite ballad out of his four ones. Yeah,
I love it. So without further ado, let's listen, watch and listen.
back.
Brava!
Thank you.
We can all join and cheer you. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thank
Wow.
you.
Well,
Well, what I was thinking, and definitely will be very useful piece of advice. Looking back now to when it was live concert, and I still like, I can always like, this should be different. Oh, this should be, why did I do this? And there's so many things which comes to mind, but it's never a learning process. You can never be 100% happy with yourself. That's what I learned from myself.
Yeah.
But it
But
doesn't.
take a moment and look at the comments that are going on right now. The amount of love and the
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh,
folks who might
wow.
be watching this later, things like amazing, wow, so impressive, breathtaking. It's a wonder the piano didn't combust. Creativity, inspiring. And I think there's also something, especially for our students, something that's just so special and inspiring when you see your teacher doing what they do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because they also see that, me as a human on a daily basis, as a teacher and also as a performer, and have insight from how it happened to me when I was growing up, and what kind of difficulties I was going through. So it's important, yes, to sharing this. This is really a wonderful series to be able to actually to get more on this kind of level. When we were talking with my students, I would never have a chance in class to talk about many things, especially after this pandemic happened. Everything is like that, and this is perfect. Beautiful idea of you guys. So kudos to you about this. Is wonderful to be able to create such an environment to share our lives and our experiences.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to you and the playing, because this is really about you. I mean, I think, for those of us who are pianists, we know the literature, and there are these, kind of usual suspect like pieces like the Chopin ballades that, you learn and play. And earlier you were talking about like, okay, having to learn new pieces, for this or for that audition. But there's core pieces that we just spend months, years working on, pieces like this. And, to hear you play this just so beautifully and so effortlessly, and to shape everything. I mean, we look at a piece like this and you go, ooh, okay, that part's difficult. Okay, I gotta
That's right.
for that I gotta like my pacing. But then, we just see the finished product and like, oh my God, it's just absolutely beautiful. Maybe talk a little bit about sort of the process of, a piece like this, that we all just heard, and like kind of like the steps and, how
Right.
sort of wrap your head around it and get to a place of comfort.
Everything starts with liking the piece, and this is for me absolutely imperative thing. I cannot practice or spend time on something which I don't like. That's me. But when I like it, I'm all in it. I'm all in it, and that's how it starts with any piece. But with this particular piece, I like the sound of it, and it sounds intimidating when you listen, because you listen to these pieces from really, really good musicians, performers, and it's in your head, it's somewhere there, and somehow you have to have this plan how I'm going to get from where I am right now, just opening for the first time sheet music, and how am I going to get there? Practice. It's so simple. It's as simple as practicing bit by bit, put that together. And you have to just learn to be patient, because these kind of pieces, these are big pieces. They're large compositions with completely different sections in it, which requires different skills, different emotional attendance. Every single one is piece on its own. So you work on the, as you said, oh, this is difficult part. You start working on the technicality of this, and you do it gazillion times until you get this, what you want. And then you come next day and you start this, and again, none of them is here. So, but time teaches you that don't worry, everything is just actually cooking there. You don't know that, but all you need to do is just be persistent, consistent with practicing. And if something doesn't work on the next day, it doesn't mean that the day before your practice is actually down the drain. No, it definitely, every single day, every single minute of your focused practice, not just spending time by the piano, but focused practice, putting things, targeting the certain parts which are really requires much more time. So all you need to do is just do them over and over and think, rethink, phrasing, everything. It's not only technicality, which I'm talking about. You even need to always, and that's what my mom always was telling me, which is actually a very good piece of advice. You have to emotionally be as much is invested in a daily practice as you would be on the stage. Did I make correct sentence? Does it make sense to you all? Yes. So because what happens, I am going to do my dynamics and be all this fancy on the stage, you would think, let me work on my technique. And then you go on the stage and you're adding all these new elements.
Yeah.
You're not familiar with that. Your brain, your heart, you never did that much in your practice room. And that is not okay to add last moment on the stage, because this is new to you and this is something unfamiliar. Even if it's very natural to you, it is unfamiliar. And then what happens, this can affect your technicality, your hard passages and this and that. So you have to give 100% every day in your practice room.
That makes so much sense, Dr. Sultanova. And I especially resonating with what you're saying about you have to invest it in your practice. You can't just suddenly bring the emotion into the performance and expect it to go well. And it, when you said there are only 24 hours in the day, I need more. I think we've all felt that sentiment. We have so many wonderful questions in our Q&A section. And one of them that ties in really nicely to what we've been discussing is, how do you balance your time? This is a question coming from Glenn Lewis. Obviously, you've been successful at balancing your time and setting priorities. So Glenn asks, do you have any specific time management methods or goal-setting strategies that you can recommend to students and to me also?
Okay, yes, thank you for this question. Yes, I cannot tell that I'm always successful in time management in this kind of sense, but what I do, if you see my piano at home, if you would see that I have stacks of either folders, black folders, or different type of musics there, and all of them are there. So as new music is coming, I definitely, like that second, it spikes my interest. I need to open and look, what is that? And and if it's just a very late night, they just send me PDF. I go from the bedroom to the piano and just I start to look at it. Everybody's sleeping in the house, but I'm just because or go on YouTube. It's absolutely not possible just to hear. Anyway, so it always sparks my interest. So what happens from that point, it's just very logically, I just set up what is hard and what is not hard, right? And the piece, even if it's just far away from the due date, but it's the hardest piece, I always start with that one, because any hard piece, you cannot just put it together at the last moment. Well, you can. You will lose a few years of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, cramming doesn't work well.
Sorry?
Cramming doesn't work very well, does it?
No, definitely not. I had one of those kind of experience when I was at university, actually getting my bachelor degree in Turkey. Their very last moment, like couple weeks before the first big international festival, which was going to held over there, they just called and said, like, would you be able to play? I wouldn't remember what it was. It's been years back. Yes, and it was serious piece playing with a very well-known cellist. And I said, yes, I can. And then and then I just went and opened up music. I said, why did I say yes? It wouldn't, of course, I asked myself this question. It wouldn't change the outcome. I would still say yes. I always say yes. But it took few years of my life because piece was hard. We didn't have enough time to practice together. It was so, because of that, and these kind of things happen to all of us. Sometimes it's like I have calls and I said, like, can you do it next week? Yes, we have to put it together. I learned to say no. That's a big improvement. I'm very proud of myself. I learned to say, can you send me music first before I say yes or no? And that's how I balance myself, because before I said yes to, I was saying yes to everyone for any kind of project. But when I was doing that, I understood that it's not good for me in terms of bearing so much load on me. And I'm starting not enjoying that. And enjoying what I love to do is very important. So yes, long story short, I'm prioritizing what is hard, and I'm starting off of that piece and then go easier, easiest.
Yeah, well, and I mean, earlier I said that that your playing of the ballade, it sounded very effortless, and I think that's something that we want to attain, right? And so the difficult things.
That's
I
right.
like that idea of, like, even if the deadline is the farthest away, we still want to approach it in the beginning, because we don't want to play it when it's difficult. That's not fun, and that's not going to communicate. But if you get to a
Absolutely.
place where it feels, oh
For
yeah,
sure.
now this feels kind of easy, then you're going to be more expressive. You're going to enjoy it more. The audience is going to
Absolutely.
pick up on that. I mean, it's a win.
Absolutely. You can be so much more connected to the piece if it's effortless at the point. Otherwise, you think about so many things, and it's not fun anymore, as you said. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so we have some folks who've been asking questions who are budding pianists, which is very encouraging to see. And a question that we have, and this is actually coming from Lynn Fowler, friend of the music department. So Dr. Sultanova, for someone who's looking for a piano teacher, maybe they're starting this journey of learning to play the piano. What are some things, and this really applies to anyone learning to play an instrument or looking for a mentor, looking for a teacher. What are some things you want to look for, when you're deciding whether or not you want to study with someone? And then from the other side, what are things that, help you decide whether or not you want to work with a student?
For me personally, being connected on a human level, click, if that's what we call it. It's very important in the how to say. It's very important in the process of learning to be able to connect to teacher. Earlier, I was telling about very hard personality of my first piano teacher, but at the same time, I was so connected to her. So she was the person who actually made me love music, so to fall in love and do something about it on a much more different level than it was in my head maybe before. With the students, it's hard to choose. It's hard to choose. I myself, I have a private studio. I have lots of students through all these years. And when I teach, I had students who we were starting with, and I knew that we are not a good match. So at that point, I was directly talking to my parents of the students, and like, I don't think I'm the right person for your child, because we have a completely different level of energy and understanding each other. And she might be or be off with so much better with someone else. And I truly believe that. Although at the end, everything goes down to the actually serious practice. I always come, no matter what. Like it's easy to blame on a teacher or a relationship, or it's not a good connect. But if students actually practice well, and it's like everything goes into the commitment level. If you practice well, if you spend enough time doing that, most probably you will connect with any kind of teacher, because most of us educators, that's what we're looking for, seriousness from the other side, right? When you see this commitment, no matter if you're not there yet, and if you're very far from being where we want you to be, the spark in your eyes, the willingness to do that, the commitment, it's everything. And I had students who are talented, they have there in their hands, they had it there, they just don't care. And that's the worst thing, because you just, no matter how much you pull your hair, it's just like, you can't do much with these kind of students. I forgot the question.
I think that's a good point, and I think I think that's applicable not just for music, but for anything in life. Find something, find the commitment to it, find the interest, the spark, so that you want to do it and you want to improve, and not just sort of going through the motions.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I think it's wonderful that music, I mean, we can learn these sort of like discipline skill sets that can be applicable for music, or we can, if we do not go down the path of music, we can apply these to other things in life.
Anything, basically, yes. Yes, if you if you're serious about something, definitely it brings so much fruits eventually. You just have to be patient with that. You have to be, but you have to commit to that. That's the only way.
Yeah. Well, earlier we were talking about your musical connections with here at CRC, about your upbringing, and then I did throw out a couple of questions that were I thought, well, okay, what are some things I could ask Narmina that maybe could help her sort of connect, or maybe some things that maybe students didn't know about her. So one of the questions we came up with was, what would be one thing that you could share with some of our CRC students that they might not know about you, or that might give them a little bit more context about sort of who you are as a person?
Sure.
I gave you the hard one.
Right, but I think I have answer here, and I would like to show this. You know who's that? What is that?
No idea.
This is back body.
Oh.
I have a severe scoliosis, which is curvature of the spine, which was apparently started at when I was about 4 years old, and it started to progress up until like much later. It still was progressing. So I in my house I have probably around 5-6 different massage devices, because this is really big pain in my life. Scoliosis with this profession which I have, they're not going well with each other. My seating amount of seating, which commitment, we're talking about the commitment, right? So with this pain, which starting about after 1 hour of sitting, it's starting to accumulate, and it's just like a snowball going more and more and more and more. And it started to be even more when you started to grow up. When you're young, you don't see that, and you see that it's okay, and you don't understand the severity of the problem until you're getting older. And after 30, it's already started, okay, I cannot sit more than half an hour or 1 hour. It's already like even through that, it is possible. I'm still here. I'm still sitting, I don't know, 8-10 hours a day by the piano, either teaching or practicing. It is doable. It's easy. Absolutely not.
Mm.
Absolutely not. It's really a big obstacle, and it's always in my head question of should I accept this offer to do this or that?
Mm.
Will I have enough power in my back to make me sit another hour, even if I will be able to create this 1 hour? It's always big struggle for me, and it's I'm not getting younger, and it's going only worse and worse. But you learn how to deal with that. Here you go. I'm here with my buddy, and this is how I just release my tension nodes. Yeah, and that's really help. Again, everything is possible as long as you have this love to do what you do. And this is one of these things. And I don't know if my students even knew about this. That's probably something new. So don't afraid of these little obstacles, which can come your way. Nobody, it can happen to anyone, this or something else. It doesn't mean that you have to, okay, piano is not for me, music is not for me, or this or that is not for me. You can find your ways around this to make it happen, as long as you have it in you. Not in it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you shared that. Thank you so much, Narmina. I think, so many of us, we, particularly the sort of the students who they don't know, they see someone like you and they say, oh my God, wow, she's bionic. She's got everything that, one would have. And well, I don't have that. I'm struggling with something. So sort of opening up and sharing, I think it gives people they can see firsthand, oh, well, she
Right.
did it. Maybe I can do it too.
Yep, definitely. Well, I remember it started with me with like I like fashion, and it started with me thinking of the stage. I'm going to wear this stuff which is all strapless and this and that, and my back is not much less than perfect. So what I'm going to do about this? So that was my first concern.
Fashion. I love
Then when I started to practice, my concerns about like what I'm going to wear, how I'm going to look, like disappeared. And I started thinking about like how the heck I'm going to spend all these hours to get the work done to be able to present it, because I need to sit prolonged hours, and I cannot sit more than 1 hour. It hurts. It really hurts, and I want to cry, and I don't want to continue. And if I go and lay down, the day will pass, and I still have to work and teach students, or I have a commitments to accompany someone there and there. So it's constant juggle, but it's possible. It's doable.
And on a lighter note, yeah, I'll just attest that she is our fashion icon here in the department. We don't get to see you as much because we're all online, but we've worked together for a long time, so I can
One of
vouch
the
for
things
that.
I miss the most about being on campus is what's
Right.
Narmina wearing today?
No, well, I have this thing, I think, for aesthetics, something like colors and stuff. It always attracts me so much. So that's little pleasures of my life, and that's maybe something else which students don't know about me. And I travel junkie. I love traveling.
Yeah.
Traveling is something what I live for.
Traveling.
Traveling, yes, traveling, seeing new cultures and experiencing new food and art and atmosphere. This is something really draws me all. Another forcing, what is that? Something which gives me an energy to continue, drive.
So we have to find the joy, right? Have to find the joy in life to keep us,
Right.
to make it worth it. And I mean, you're such a joyful person, and you bring so much talent and joy to our music department. We're so thankful for you.
Oh, thank you.
And we're so thankful to have had this hour with you. It flew by. I looked at the clock. I assume we had another half hour. I'm like, oh, 2 minutes.
I know, I talk so much.
No, it was perfect. It was wonderful. I think we need, just to have you back and talk to you more. And so since we only have another minute or two, and of course, want to respect your time, I guess maybe one way we can close is by letting folks know where can we hear you? Where can we go to hear more of your performances, see more of your work? I was going to say buy your CDs, but I don't know if we're still doing that as a culture anymore.
No, no.
Yeah, where can we find all things Narmina Sultanova?
Yeah, so yeah, so obviously for the past 2 years, everything was like nothing was there. Although we actually had a few performances, few recordings, and few live streams with the singers, streaming right from my living room. One of them was for the March 8th, Women's Day. Yes, so that these kind of things. What the plans are? We have few plans having with the singer. We have something planned again with my father down the road. Yes, there's a plan to do actually 3 pianos with my sister, my father, and me together. She lives in Germany, but either there or here. So we just need to come up with the logistics of places where we can find 3 pianos available for this kind of projects. It's all excited, and always the things which we do regularly, it's basically, which I do regularly, is just playing with the different musicians. And they're on YouTube, or they, I'm so bad in this kind of stuff. I never keep tracks or what is where, and or like just set up the website, these simple things which, you know, you're supposed to have as being an art person, right, in this kind of industry. Like, this is my weakness, which I accept.
Pretty well on the music side.
Yeah,
Very well on the music side, so that's okay. We'll forgive you.
Oh, yeah, we can share some links with students who are here today. We'll of course have this posted up on our YouTube, and we'll put some links for folks to where they can listen to some of your other performances.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Oh gosh, yeah, Narmina, Dr. Sultanova, everyone, a round of emoji and real life applause.
Thank you very much.
So excited I get to leave this door and see you in person.
Yes.
And so before we're done today, Professor Erickson, do you want to tell us about our next in the studio, since it's featuring the Composer Ensemble?
Oh, how about that? Yeah. We do have another in the special in the studio event. It's the CRC Composers Ensemble, which is a group of very creative, hyper creative students here on campus that meet weekly in one of our composition classes, which, by the way, I would strongly encourage you, check it out. Check out our classes. Our spring semester has just gone live, so studying piano with Narmina, you can do that. Yes, you can. All of our classes, we've got fantastic faculty and just really incredible offerings. And the Composers Ensemble, we are presenting works, I believe it is next Wednesday the 17th. I believe it's at noon. Works by student composers, just some really incredible music making. I think you'll really enjoy it, and hear the composers themselves talk about what inspired them and how they brought these pieces to life. So come check it out.
Very exciting.
Yes. There's I love this department because there's always so much going on, and really great people leading the music making. So it is a real joy. So thank you, Narmina. Thank you for.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be with you, working with you. It's so much happening here, which constantly inspires all of us, I guess.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Well, thank you, everyone. Take care. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you.
Bye.